Our top story here at 4 today, the deadly runway crash at LaGuardia Airport in New York. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
I'm Jonathan Gonzalez. Michael is off. Now, the airport there is back open after an Air Canada plane slammed into a fire truck on the runway. This afternoon, new video into our newsroom showing the moment of the collision. However, we paused it right before impact. The
pilot and the co-pilot were killed in this crash. More than 40 people were injured. NBC4's Lolita Lopez in our newsroom right now following the very latest developments. Lolita?
Yeah, Colleen and Jonathan, the NTSB just finished up a press conference that we've been monitoring. They said they are still waiting for certain specialists to get to them in order to continue their investigation, but they did already get the cockpit recorder there. They were able to take that to D.C. to start looking into that as part of their investigation. Of course, LaGuardia, as you said, is now reopened, but travelers were being warned to expect delays and cancellations possibly for the next couple of days. And we do have that new surveillance video showing that part of the crash, and we just want to warn viewers that it may be graphic for some of you.
Surveillance video shows the moment an Air Canada plane crashed into a fire truck at LaGuardia Airport at 11:45 Eastern Time last night. You can see the Port Authority fire rescue truck on its way to respond to a separate issue involving another flight. It crosses the runway as the Jazz Aviation flight operated by Air Canada and carrying 72 passengers and 4 crew members was at the end of the landing. It appears air traffic controllers gave the plane and truck clearance to be on the runway, then this urgent command.
Stop.
More than 40 people were taken to local hospitals, many released after being treated. This mother getting a call from her daughter.
It was a plane crash. Please come.
The pilot and co-pilot of the plane, both men, were killed in the crash.
2 young pilots left their homes expecting to return to their families, and they will not.
New York officials joined the nation's transportation secretary and FAA administrator to discuss the crash. The FAA says winds were moderate and there was some mist and fog when the truck and plane collided.
We are committed to a full, transparent investigation. We will support the NTSB in any way possible. And again, we look forward to being able to take concrete actions to ensure something like this will never happen again.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy also confirmed more than 1 air traffic controller was working at the time of the collision, adding overall, LaGuardia is well staffed with certified air traffic controllers. This is the first deadly incident at LaGuardia in more than 3 decades. And while Secretary Duffy says he didn't want to be political, he spoke of more funding as aviation faces tremendous pressures.
I'm not saying that this crash would have been prevented if we had all the equipment deployed. But it's important if we care about air travel safety.
Now, again, minutes ago, the NTSB finished a press conference. Jeffrey Hamnedy, the chairman of the NTSB, saying that some of her staff actually experienced delays that we've been talking about that many travelers have experienced. She said one of her NTSB staff members waited in a TSA line for 3 hours in Houston on the way to this crashing. So she says there'll be more investigators coming in and more answers tomorrow. Among the questions is whether fatigue or other factors with the air traffic controller had any effect, and also the handling of both ground and airspace at the same time. An aviation expert says it is not unusual, but very demanding. Jonathan?
Lolita, thank you. This is a story, of course, we're going to continue to follow all day on air and online. We'll have the very latest on the ongoing investigation. For any updates, head to our NBCLA website.
ICE agents are being sent to some airports around the country to help with security. In fact, you can see video of them at major hubs like Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, New York, New Jersey, and Chicago O'Hara. Here in Southern California, as of right now, we are not seeing them at LAX, but also we are not seeing the issue with TSA lines there. You may see them, though, during a layover or at your final destination. NBC4's Karma Dickerson live right now at LAX. Karma, what are passengers saying about all this out there?
Well, a lot of them say that they're aware of what's going on, but seem mostly unfazed in terms of their own travel experiences. As you mentioned, it's pretty smooth sailing as you try to get in and through LAX. We simply aren't seeing those same lines and delays. However, we have heard from people who started their day at other airports, and as they were flying through, yes, some did see those ICE agents, and here's what they experienced.
At LAX and Burbank airports Monday, it was largely business as usual. But across America, some airport travelers are seeing a different kind of uniform at airport security.
I just said, oh, I'm surprised to see you guys here. And they said, yeah, we're here today.
ICE agents at airports in Phoenix, Atlanta, Philadelphia, NBC News has confirmed more than a dozen airports across the country have had immigration agents assigned to help with TSA duties.
They were helping with the x-ray machines and luggage going through and just talking to the agents.
Were they actually like behind the x-ray machine checking the machine, or were they helping people just get their things through? Do you remember exactly what they were doing?
Just helping people.
This as some airports see hours-long waits and security lines stretching through terminals as unpaid TSA agents call off of work.
People are sick and tired. They're hopeless. I think that's probably the best word. I mean, because there's no end in sight.
About 60,000 TSA agents have been working without pay since the partial government shutdown February 14th.
But the fact that they're coming up, they're showing that they have more character than the people who are not actually voting to get them paid.
Many of those agents haven't recovered from last fall's shutdown of 43 days, the longest in U.S. history, tells us Bobby Orozco, a TSA worker at LAX.
Now it's about survival. Now it's about food on the table for the kids, mortgages, car payments, and so on and so forth.
DHS says more than 400 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown began. Saturday, more than 11% of workers called out. Orozco, who is also the local TSA union president, says they've been able to collaborate to keep agents at work.
I'll speak for our local union. We do have a really good relationship with management, but we definitely try to encourage our folks to show up, as long as they can. We're also trying to reach out and get resources for our folks.
Now, in touching base with our local airports, including LAX, Long Beach, Ontario, Burbank, they say they haven't been notified that ICE plans to send officers to their airports. But also keep in mind, these airports haven't seen these extended wait times. However, just about 20 minutes ago, we saw a social media post from the Department of Homeland Security that shows Southern California is at least on their radar to some extent. They posted about Long Beach Airport, saying 21% of TSA agents called out over the weekend at Long Beach. That's a post from DHS. They didn't say that they plan to do anything in particular about it, but certainly a number we'll want to keep an eye on because, again, these ICE agents at airports seem to be directly tied to these long wait times. Reporting live, Carmen Dickerson, NBC4 News.